Jay says, hey, Brian, Jay, Ben, and Ryan, how are your lorry projects looking this year? Boom, 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 boom.
We are going to smoke, Brian.
Ooh, them's just fighting words, boy.
Tell you what, every lorry ball I produce is going in the freezer this year. No, it's looking good for us. I mean, I'm excited for what you guys do. I think that you guys have some really cool stuff too. So
the leopard lorry stuff is really cool. I'm
like
definitely
that.
when you produce a super lorry leopard, we're like, oh freak.
Yeah,
Like, and every time you produce something cool, we're like, are we going in the right direction? Like, you know,
well, I think there's so many directions, and that's the thing, because the project has been around forever, but is really so new.
The sky is the limit.
You know, who knows what you're going to get? You know what I mean?
agree.
It's like, you know, we both got into banana stuff. I think that looks really cool. I'd like to see what the future of that is. I really want to see what like a super lorry pied is going to look like.
I don't think anybody has it into a recessive yet.
No, yeah. I mean, pied, clown, you know, I mean, all that stuff is going to
Sunset?
be. Yeah, sunset.
could be
exactly.
cool.
Who knows?
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I was like, oh, we should really get into puzzle. I mean, really.
Yeah.
I think
That'd be interesting, actually. That'd be an interesting...
Don't bring up that project.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, for the yeah.
Well, actually, it's funny. I used to not like puzzle stuff, but I actually have become pretty fond of it now.
Yeah.
You know?
And I don't like it because of Sean, but I like it because of Will. From
Yeah. The Sean's were terrible. But they're really nice.
Yeah.
No, but to be totally honest with you, I used to really rip Miguel tremendously because he spent a bunch of money to get into puzzles.
Yeah.
And what I always said, and we were actually out, we were in Florida, and I kept ripping on him. I'm like, you just paid $20,000 for a couple normal snakes, you know, stuff like that. And so what happens is like, he's like, they're not normal. I'm like, to any normal person that isn't in the reptile hobby, it's a normal ball python. That's got a cool pattern.
Yep.
And he's like, I don't, blah, blah, blah. So everywhere we would stop, I would literally make him show like random people a normal in a puzzle and say, do you see the difference between these two snakes? And every single person was like, well, no, not really.
Yeah.
But I'll be honest with you, I've seen some really cool puzzle mutations that are pretty damn dope.
Yeah, they're dope.
So I become a puzzle fan. Will I buy into them? No, because that's not my world. You know, I don't want to buy investment stuff. When they came down under $1,000 or something, I'll buy into them because I think they're really cool to play with. Yeah. But I don't want a $10,000 snake. Like if I produce a $10,000 snake, I'm keeping it because I'm not going to try to sell it.
Yeah,
you know,
right.
I don't do investment quality animals anymore. So just because that's just not my world, I let everyone else do that. That's fine. I want to produce stuff that is like, my wheelhouse is $100 to $700.
Yeah.
Because that's like the pet trade, and that's where I want to live. You know,
It's a great market in that area.
yeah, because I always tell people. There's nothing wrong with going to the investment world. I did it for a long time. So if I was bitching about it, I'd be a hypocrite because, you know, that's what I did for 20 plus years. So I'm not bitching at that. I've just decided to move away from that personally. But, you know, I've said, how many people do you think, I mean, a guesstimate, do you think that are into ball pythons in the United States, investment ball pythons? I mean, just a guesstimate, just a guesstimate.
200,000?
Okay, I can appreciate that.
I mean, I think there's
that.
what, 1.5 million actual reptile people on the books as pet people.
Yeah, I think that depending on which study you go from, it's somewhere from 1.5 million to 4 million people that are keeping reptiles.
Like 2 million.
Yeah. So that's my point. Let's say 2 million. Let's split it. Say 2 million people keep reptiles, or families keep reptiles. And I think that number could actually be even higher than that with all the pet code and PetSmart and all that other stuff. But let's just say 2 million. That's my point. Do you want to market to 10%? Or do you want to market to 2 million? Do you want to market to 200,000?
Yeah.
Or do you want to market to 2 million? You know,
Absolutely.
And so to me, the 2 million is where I want to live. And the other thing is I did really feel bad when I did sell someone a $25,000 snake and they didn't make their money back. Now, it was really I think in my career, anyways, almost every time I can think of someone that didn't make their money back, it was kind of their fault more than my fault. We all know prices are going to come down, but if you buy a $25,000 snake and it goes down to $5,000, that's a considerable drop. But if you produce 5 of them, you broke even.
Yeah.
And now you produce 10 of them, you just made a bunch of money. You made $50,000. You know, if you didn't produce or the animal died, then you've lost your money.
That's
and
tough.
That's not really necessarily my fault.
Well, you got to weigh out your
someone else's
risk when you're doing those type of investments. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Not
that's
a lot of
huge.
people think about it, really. They think, oh, everybody else is doing it. It's just drop some money and you get some money back. You know?
Well, that's the thing. And I think that's why I stopped doing investment stuff, is because over, the 20-something years I was involved, I saw so many people really make bad choices. You know, and really get hurt. You know, I always say the people that make the most money are the guy in the very top or the second tier.
Yeah.
Once you get to the third tier, you're getting hurt. And then once you get to the fifth or sixth tier, now you're back and making money
It starts
again.
dropping off real fast.
Yeah, you know, so you at least when you get down to that fifth or sixth tier, at least the money has come down to the point where you're not going to get rich, but you're going to make your money back. You
Over
know?
time,
and,
yeah.
And but that third, fourth tier, ooh, that's a dangerous tier. That's the tier that you got to be careful of, because that's when that
Ebb and
precipitous
flow,
drop goes.
Yeah.
You know,
That's what we got caught into that a little bit, where we're like, do you want to dip your toe into like a new project or whatever, and then like
You get caught holding the bag.
Yeah, you get caught holding the bag like every
Well,
time.
I think Mike Wilbanks was always really smart about that, in the sense that, like, when he wanted to get into the new project, he would overpay to be the first guy in, knowing that he was going to make the most money if he was the first guy in. You know, outside of, like, you know, not the first guy, but the second guy. You know what I mean? Like, you know, and that's what he did with the scaleless ball pythons, right? He called me up and he said, "I'll pay you more than anybody else, but you can't sell them to anyone else this year. I'm buying every single one." And he made, you know, he told me he made $1 million profit from scaleless head ball pythons. You know,
great.
Obviously Sean was one of them. You know, one of the 50,000 that led it. Yeah, he was 5% of that. You know, that $1 million. So
Well, there's a lot of power having control of the narrative of projects. So getting in
Yeah.
at the top level, you know.
Yeah, there is, and that's where it is. But I just don't know. I just didn't want to play that game anymore. I played it for a long time. It was really good to me, and it was really bad to me. It was both sides of it. But now I love, and the other thing, now I love that it doesn't. You know, I always say, you guys know this. Like, if you, let's say you produce 6 eggs from this Lori project, you know, that's, you know, and you've got a 1 in 6 odds to produce it. Every egg you cut is like, oh shit.
Yep.
And then if you miss, you're like, oh my gosh, I gotta wait till next year. I don't have that anymore. Like I'm like, might be disappointed, like, oh, I really wanted to see what that looks like.
Yeah.
But there's no like financial investment
Ties,
into it
yeah,
at
yeah.
all. Like, I don't worry. Like, if that clutch is worth $500 or $50,000, doesn't matter to me. You know, like it doesn't. You know, I don't look at. There's never a snake I look at now as money ever. You know what I mean? It's worth money, but I don't look at it that way. I have Lori and my staff look at it that way. I just look at them as cool snakes, and that's just been a thing for me. So
I'm gonna go to Jason's first, real fast. Morph Mixology. He wanted to say that the cages that looked like wood are the Toad Ranch,
Toad Ranch,
and those guys are awesome.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. Toad Ranch. You nailed
He's
it,
so
Jason.
good.
Yeah, that's what makes you so special. But yeah, it was Toad Ranch, and they were cool. You want to pull it up? Pull
Yeah,
up Toad Ranch cages. I mean, they were pretty dope. I liked them. Here we go.
Oh wow, yeah, those are
Yeah, I mean,
sick.
and they're
Look at the
they're
gray.
yeah,
That's cool.
Because then you can like if you wanted to destroy your house a little bit, you sink that into a wall. It almost looks like a picture frame.
Yeah,
you know?
I mean, it's super
that's a cool
cool,
idea.
and
Damn, that's
and they're
badass.
PVC. They're not wood, so they can't
You think
distort.
that's
or-
just a laminate on
It's
top?
probably a laminate. So when we were looking
idea.
into
a pretty cool idea.
when we were
It's
looking
great,
into to doing cages with universal rocks, we were using PVC, and you can get them in pink polka dots and
Yeah.
everything, and it's just literally something that you iron onto it. And it stays forever. It doesn't peel off. You know, it's really good. And it's a I can't remember what the coating is called, but there was like 2. You could get like blue metallic. You could
wow.
get anything, any
Yeah.
color you wanted. You could add to the PVC, and it was just like it wasn't. I think it was a heat gun that you actually put it on, so it like shrink wrap. It's like a car wrap.
Yeah.
essentially.
Yeah, yeah.
It's
Vinyl
same-
wrapping.
Yeah, it's like a vinyl wrapping, and so I'm sure that's what it does. So thanks, Jason, for that. That's awesome.
Becky came back to say, "What is your favorite memory as a child with snakes?" And all of you can answer that if
Yeah,
you'd
why
like
don't you start, because I know you've been a reptile guy.
Well, as a child, I have no favorite ones because I was terrified of them.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't know that I liked reptiles. I mean, let me dial that back a little bit. I was super into dinosaurs and stuff as a kid,
Okay,
and
yeah.
way into animals in general. I
Right.
was going to be a marine biologist or paleontologist, all that
Nice.
stuff, but never had really any exposure to reptiles.
Interesting.
Except, I was, herping in my backyard, like looking around for animals in like a wood pile.
Yeah.
Found a aluminum can that was empty. I was like, oh, cool. What's this? Shook it around. There's something in it. Look at it. Garter snake jumps out right in my
Oh
face.
my
like,
gosh.
obviously, it was trying to get away. It wasn't trying to
Sure,
jump at my
yeah,
face,
yeah,
but
yeah.
like I was 8 years old. I was like, ran back to the house. Didn't go back out for the rest of the day. So
Oh
like,
my gosh.
kind of like put off a little bit by that experience. But then,
Yeah.
I was probably like 18 or 19 or something. One of my buddies owned a pet store and he needed somebody to help him vend Hamburg.
Mm-hmm.
And ended up babysitting a ball python for him the whole day. And And
That
I
was it.
ended up buying it because
Yeah.
it kept trying to get out of the container.
Yeah.
So I had it around my neck all day, and everybody was coming up. Oh, can I check it out and all
Yeah.
this stuff? Let me hold it, and fell in love. So bought my first normal male ball python. That's
Isn't that
it. And
something?
awesome,
It
man.
went
That's cool,
downhill.
though.
Yeah,
That's
but-
cool. Yeah, and for me, I think it's a similar thing without the Coke can. Ours that I used to just go out into the woods every day in the summertime. That's all I did was we had woods right down the block, and this was during a area of time when even when I was 4 years old, I could disappear for 6 hours, and my mom would never care. And they would just be like, "Oh yeah, he's just outside somewhere. I don't know where, but he's deep in the woods." And it was pretty dangerous now that I think about it. But yeah, I used to catch snakes just all day long. I mean, that's all I would do.
That's cool.
And ironically enough, the place, our little vacation spot. Did I tell you this, Jay?
Let me hear this.
Literally, I was.
Oh yes, I think you did.
I was there, and I walked out back by the lake, and garter snake right at my feet.
And you're like,
Oh, yeah.
yes.
Yeah, I mean, literally, first time I went out back. I mean, first
a
time
good
I went
sign,
out back,
man.
there's a garter snake cruising. I was
That's
like,
awesome.
oh, I caught it, and I showed Lori, and it mussed on me a little bit, and I
your
was
blood
super,
flowing.
super excited, man.
That's
I was like,
awesome.
That's cool. That means
So-
a lot of good herping to come in that
there's
area.
a lot.
you know?
Yeah, the guy that owned the place before us told us that there's tons of snakes. He's like, oh my
Nice.
gosh, you'll see snakes here all the time, and I'm like, great.
yeah. The one person that's
awesome.
like,
He's like trying to
finally.
warn you.
Yeah, yeah. Everyone else is like, "Oh, there's too many snakes." I'm like, "There can never be too many
Yeah,
snakes."
let's get some more.
It's so it's I can't wait to get out there. Actually, I'm going to go Monday, so hopefully the weather will cooperate and I can get out into the woods a little bit. It'd be the first time I caught my first snake, but it was in the backyard.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's pretty nature there, but it's still my backyard. The woods are right across the street, and I can't wait to get into them, see what's up there.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So, you have any memories of animals?
So I mean, I liked animals, I guess, as a kid, but I was never a reptile guy or anything. And I wasn't ever afraid of snakes. My grandmother, it's a crazy, weird story, but my grandmother won the lottery when I was real little,
Holy cow!
and millions of dollars.
my
And
gosh.
she's a crazy animal lady. Like, spent it all on. She bought a horse farm up in
Oh wow!
upstate New York, and
Ooh, hell yeah.
we would go up there a few times, and she just would buy animals and just have them. So it wasn't like she was doing anything to earn money in any way with that way. And there's a lot more personal story, but so we were up there once, and my cousin found like some black racers, like little snakes, and he was like, "Wow, they're like everywhere." They must have been like I don't know, but we started just catching them.
Wow,
And we put them into a big,
and they're,
to like
they're
a big-
feisty too.
Yeah, but we were little. They weren't really biting us, and they were little. So we were just catching them. And we put them into like this big trash can. There's probably like 30 of them. Or
Oh my
something like
gosh,
that we
yeah.
caught, and we brought them inside the house to show our parents. Like,
Oh,
look at
nice.
these. And my aunt, terrified of snakes, she freaks and she like jumps, and my cousin drops the trash can and dumps them into the house. So like all of a sudden,
man.
there's all these little black racers, and they're like, "Woo!" And
Oh,
we're
they're
like,
fast.
"Whoa!" We're like, "Ah!" I'm laughing. I was like
my
5 or 6 years old. Like I was little.
gosh.
That's a good story.
It was a funny story, but
Oh my gosh.
I don't know what happened to those.
Yeah, they're probably still there.
House is infested to
They're
this
literally
day.
breeding in that house as we
that's
speak.
right.
Yeah.
Josh at Pale Scales says, I got myself a phantom leopard het pied male who is 200 grams and ready to go.
2,000.
Money aside, what female would you pair him with?
That's a big male. Gosh, I don't know. What do you guys
Phantom
think?
leopard.
Phantom leopard, het pied. I mean, obviously you want to do something that's going to be pied.
Should
Yeah,
definitely get
maybe.
a monsoon pie to put it to.
Oh, monsoon pond
If
would
money
be
wasn't
really
a-
nice. Yeah,
money's
yeah.
not-
Money wasn't an option.
What's the
You
budget
said
look
that,
like?
We'll be
here.
doing the Lori. Do something Lori would be great.
Yeah,
Yeah, and send it to us. Yeah, please. Promote.
I think I mean I would go like a desert ghost pie, like something double
Yeah.
recessive. Try to get into.
It really
something.
depends on the budget, man. Like,
Yeah, well, he said money aside, so I think you could do it.
yeah,
I agree.
money
yeah,
aside to a point, though.
Yeah. But a desert ghost pie isn't that bad. It's
Yeah.
it's not that bad. And like you said, then you have the leopard stuff into it. Desert ghost
Yeah.
stuff is really great, and then you have the phantom stuff that's
Yeah.
kind of lightens things up
Make
too.
sure you
so-
have pastel in there.
yeah, probably pastel.
and
Yeah,
desert ghost I think go to really well.
yeah, that's true. So yeah, that's a good options.
Castilla says, Brian, have you heard anything about the bill passed or not in North Carolina? Also, can I get in the cage with Ivy?
There's a good chance we could do something for you with Ivy. It just depends on where she's at and what's going on. I know that Clistia said she's going to come visit us here soon.
Sweet,
I think in
sweet.
June, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, that's not even
so,
a couple days away.
It's not far. But as far as the bill, I haven't heard. You know,
Did the bill pass?
I don't think it passed. I don't think. I think it's still in committee. If
feel
I'm
like we
not
would've
mistaken.
Animal educator bill you're talking
animal
about?
educator bill. Yeah. So I know USARC's had quite a bit of struggle this year.
They have been putting in so many bills this year. They're going after it for sure.
Never more than this year. I mean, this has been an insane. We're only 3 months into the year. I mean, it's crazy. I've never seen anything like what we're getting, an onslaught. The good news is we beat every single one of them.
Yeah.
You know,
The problem is
except for the Florida one.
one,
Florida one didn't
But,
go so well. But that was
Florida's a
FWC.
hard
That's
one,
more
too.
FWC than it is anything.
Yeah.
Now I know that, you know. Do you guys know anything that's the Rubio proposed thing for Lacey? Are they anywhere with that?
I haven't heard them move on it. No,
I haven't, but I was told that it's going to be like very hard battle for them because of so some of the stuff is affects other pet markets,
Right.
and so it's going to be an uphill battle for that, I think.
Right. Let's hope. Let's hope.
hope,
Let's
yeah.
hope.
And then
that-
once you start throwing the stifling small businesses into the whole equation, I think he would back off that a little bit.
Yeah, it's a little bit different when you're going on a federal level because they have to go through a budgetary committee that, you know, they do if there is a financial
Economic
hardship.
hit,
Yeah, if it costs more than X amount, I think it's like $50 million a year in small businesses, then the bill gets trashed. So, you know, that was one of the things that happened. We were working really diligently hard on the initial Lacey Act, the NOI, was, you know, the economic damage, but we couldn't prove because Burmese really weren't making people the kind of money, say, ball pythons would be making people.
Yeah.
You know, you could definitely, if you outlawed ball pythons, it would certainly surpass the budgetary, you know, constraints that the government can put on people with laws. So we'll just keep going and keep on donating to USARC, man.
Yeah, and if I can talk a little just real quick.
Yeah.
Not just thinking about just reptiles. There's other pet things that are going on, like in New York.
Yeah.
They banned, and this is a little while ago now, they banned the sale of rabbits, dogs, and cats in pet stores, right?
Yeah, I heard this.
So you can't go to a pet store and everyone's like, oh, that's great, because then you have to get them from a rescue or shelter or something. The problem is once you stop that, you're starting to destroy other things that the pet stores are selling. So right, that's the bread and butter for them.
Yeah.
And so then they're going to stop selling like cat food and dog food and stuff like that. And all of a sudden these little pet stores are going to start going away and the shelters are going to be out of them.
Yeah.
You know, and you end up getting rid of all that animal there.
Yeah.
And it's a foothold.
Yeah.
For when you start, so as reptile people, we're always like, oh man, let's fight for reptiles.
Yeah.
But you also have to be mindful of the other pets that are like, these are major steps to cut the bread and butter best selling pets in the country out of all pet stores in New York is like, major deal.
Chicago's the same way, by the way. Chicago's got the
Major
same bill.
deal.
Yeah, you can't sell a dog or a cat in
Then all that stuff starts disappearing by attrition because all those animals have to be spayed or neutered, so no more will be produced. You can't buy them, so they'll all die off. Then all the extra stuff that the pet people need, like even for reptiles, the stores will shut down and you won't be able to get the stuff you need to take care of your pet. So then it's less easy to have a pet. No, it's a snowball. We got to fight as for all the rights of all animals. There's no doubt about it. And I find it interesting too because shelters charge for dogs and cats. They just say it's a donation. It's they don't put a price on it, but you got to give a donation that is about the same as what you buy at a pet shop. So it's a little bit of a weird thing. Not bashing on shelters at all because most shelters are really good. Yeah, we need
not
them
all.
for sure.
Yeah, not all shelters, but most shelters are very good. But it's a slippery slope, and what we have to understand is that whether it's reptiles or dogs or cats, it is really just being pushed by an agenda to an anti-pet advocacy group, right? So there's a ton of anti-pet advocacy groups that their whole idea, I mean, people don't know, but the HSUS, the Humane Society of the United States, literally does not want people to own a dog or a cat.
Yep.
They think it's so here we
They're
people
on the
like,
record saying it.
yeah, they're on the record saying that, Wayne Purcell has said he doesn't think that having a dog or a cat, it's a captivity and that they should not be in captivity.
Yep.
And if people knew that, they would stop donating hundreds of millions of dollars to the HSUS, Now, that's not the Humane Society, your local chapter, totally different.
Yeah.
Most of the local chapters are amazing. They're good animal people, but the U.S. chapter.
Future Reptarian employee says, just for love.
It's a great right?
Brian, I was spreading a message of love at the Orlando Repticon today, wore my RJ sweater, and had
Nice,
people
man.
asking questions. Jay, you the man, and what is up, guests? Stay awesome, guys.
That's
What's up,
awesome.
man?
Thank you so much. I
sweetheart,
appreciate it.
man.
So that's awesome. Repticon in Orlando. I'm glad that. Well, it's fucking Florida. You know what I mean?
They've been open for ever. Did they ever close?
They were closed for 12 days. They were closed for 12 days. But yeah, no, it's good to see. It was funny. I don't know if you guys are I'm not a horse race guy at all, but my stepdad was, so I kind of know a little bit about horse racing, just because I was around it. But today was Kentucky Derby.
Oh,
I
wow.
didn't know it was today. I knew it was coming up.
Yeah, it was today. I don't know who won. Of course, they say the most exciting 60 seconds in sports, right? But I saw some live feeds of the Churchill Downs, and not a mass to be seen.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
100% capacity, not a mass to be seen.
It's such a weird thing
It's
because how
wild,
do you
right?
pick? Do you have to pay for the position to be 6 feet apart of each rider, or what?
Yeah,
The
exactly.
social distance the riders.
It's really weird that they literally came in first, second, and third 6 feet apart. It was really third place was 18 feet behind the first place
Shit's
person.
rigged.
It's crazy how it worked that way.
All
But
the
no,
jockeys had hazmat suits on, so they were
yeah,
good.
exactly. Yeah, big old respirators. And, but I think it's. Listen, I don't want to get into a debate about mask or no mask, but it makes me feel good when I see a place that's like normal, completely normal. Even the reporters didn't have masks on. Normally reporters are like, oh, we better wear masks.
Just for that.
It was like you would not have thought there was so. It gives me hope that maybe the future is getting better, and I can guarantee you at Repticon, maybe not in Orlando because Orlando does still have some mask mandates, but you have a show in Fort Lauderdale, there ain't going to be a mask in that place.
There was the Arlington show. I didn't see the very.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I saw the auction. I saw a lot of Insta stories at the auction. I didn't see any masks there, man. It's just like I'm like, oh my god, I want to be there so bad, especially now that we're immunized and you're bulletproof because you're. You took the COVID shot.
Scared.
Yeah, you're like.
We were just talking last night when we went out to dinner. Like, I just realized since COVID happened, it was the first time I actually had dinner in a restaurant with friends.
Wild.
Because we can't really do that in New Jersey. So
Well, you can now, but yeah, it's been
a
long
little
time.
bit, but
Wow, that's
A
crazy.
little bit, yeah. It's I mean, it's something I've only done a couple times. I mean, quite frankly, I haven't been out, but I think I will do more now. I want to do more now. I really do. Especially
you're
now
vaccinated. I'm vaccinated.
Which, by the way, Jay, I called my mom's
nice.
place today,
Nice,
and they
dude.
said I can visit her.
Are you excited?
Awesome.
Yeah, so I can go visit my
Congratulations,
mom.
man. That's
Of
awesome.
course, I've got to wait the 14 days. So I'm whatever, not even 7 days in yet. So I still have about eight or 9 days left before I can go visit my mom for
That's
the
so
first
cool,
time
though.
in 14 months. So
That's awesome.
So it's I was just happy to when I called. I was worried about them saying, "Oh, sorry, we're still going to be strict." She's like, "No, as long as you're vaccinated, you can come. That'd be great."
That's great.
And I'm like, "Yeah, I can't wait to go hug my mom." It'll
So you're
be
gonna be
amazing.
vaccinated? I'm like, look, I can take pictures of me licking tables like in
Yeah,
public,
exactly.
and I'm like,
yeah.
well, if you could do that.
Well, I used to do that before COVID. too, so.
No, just
They're tasty, man.
Yeah, I remember being on the subway with you once and you licking the pole.
free
It was
candy.
really weird.
Doorknob licker, this guy.
Yeah, it was weird. Simple Man's
Simple
in the
Man's in the building. He threw 20 to say, hope you all have a great night. I'm having some car problems right now, but just wanted to say, great
man.
podcast.
Well, I hope your car problems go away. There's nothing
dude.
worse than car problems.
Yeah.
Oh, boy, Dev.
Ooh, Wow Boy Dev. He says, what's going on, guys? Finally caught another live. Miss you,
Well,
man.
yeah, Dev is a local guy that has a bunch of cool snakes, but also
Super
keeps a
passionate, yeah.
really cool red-throated king cobra.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, he's
cool.
it's named Taco.
Yeah,
Is that the guy you had on the vlog?
Yeah.
Cool.
His name is Taco.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah. Well,
well-
Dev is named Dev. But
His name's Burrito.
The snake is named Taco. He's a cool dude, man. He's a real passionate guy, so it's nice to have him around. He's a lot older than I thought too. I think.
How old is he?
I swear to gosh,
I would say 21.
Yeah, I swear to gosh, I saw like it was like his 25th birthday or something.
No way,
You know,
really?
I could be completely out of my mind, but when I saw like it was his birthday a few weeks back, and it was like 25 or whatever, I was like, wow, I didn't expect him to be, because
I thought he was young, man.
Yeah,
well,
he
not
seems
that
young.
25 is
but
young,
but he's a real good guy. He's a good dude, man.
Let Roses Burn says, didn't get to Repticon this weekend, but the cool thing is you have to buy time slots. The tickets are for 2 hours only to limit number of people.
Oh, interesting. I wonder what state that's. Do you remember? She's Ohio, right? Is that?
Roses Burn, maybe Indiana. I'd have to look.
I thought
don't
that
remember
Let Roses Burn was in Ohio.
That's interesting. I wonder if that would like make people like, well, I got to buy something right now. Like if it would rush.
Yeah.
a
But it
sale.
would also, to me, the only problem with that would also be like, what if you had the 2 to 4 o'clock time slot? You'd be like, all the good shit's gone.
Yeah.
You know what I
Could
mean?
be.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't.
You got to buy VIP still.
Yeah. I mean, I think the reptile shows, it's because obviously we do time slots here, but we don't sell anything. You know, I mean, you come at 4
You're
o'clock,
getting the same
come at
thing,
8
yeah.
o'clock, you get the exact same experience.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. It's I don't think it's a bad idea for a reptile show in a state that is restricted, but I don't think I think I'd want the early time slot.
Yeah.
yeah,
You got to pre-order, man.
yeah,
Really.
yeah.
Know what you want and pre-order.
Yeah, that's true too. I mean, I don't think that. No, I shouldn't. I was going to say I don't think that I've ever went to a reptile show and spontaneously bought something.
I've seen,
but
you
I
do that.
have. Yeah, I have.
Like,
I
hey,
have.
Brian, there's some Cribos over here. What do you think about that?
Yeah,
Let's buy 'em all.
exactly, yeah. As a matter of fact, that's one of the only reasons why I want to go to. Not necessarily the June Schomburg show, but the or October Tinley show.
Yeah.
because I just like to buy some stuff.
Go browse around a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I think that
That's
it'd be
fun.
great to. I've never went to an NARBC that I didn't vend. So I mean,
wow.
to walk around would be crazy.
By the way,
I mean?
Let Roses Burn is from Florida.
Florida. Why did I think she was from Ohio?
I don't know why. I thought she was from Midwest somewhere too.
Time slots in Florida.
So why would there be time slots in Florida? That's
interesting.
weird. Maybe Orlando, because Orlando
It's not
is,
impossible.
Is that's the only county in Florida that is
Maybe
is
an insurance
remains-
thing,
Yeah. Or it could even be the actual Repticon. Just
Could be.
they might do it on their own, because all businesses, even in Texas and Florida, they can still mandate whatever they want, restrictions, whatever they want. Because I know there was a show in, I want to say, some state. Oh gosh, I just heard about this recently. There was a reptile show in a state that had like no mask mandates, and they still mandated masks, and they took like tons of grief because they wouldn't let anyone in without a mask, and everyone was like, "Fuck masks," you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I just heard about this a couple weeks back, but
That's pretty ballsy.
yeah, I mean, it's good. I mean, I think good for you. I
Yeah.
mean, just stick to your things, and listen, we'll hopefully be out of this shortly. And
Only a couple months till we're at full capacity.
yeah, full capacity, at least in New York.
Yeah.
Let's see if we'll get
Everybody
anywhere else.
follows
It's funny. I just was reading today what they were saying, that they felt that we were at an inflection point, right? That inflection point for the virus was probably within 2 to 3 weeks, where they would see a precipitous drop of infections and deaths. And by the way, Israel, who I've been saying is who we should be looking at right now. It's more dangerous to go to a religious event in Israel than it is to get
Stop,
COVID.
dude.
Yeah, that was a really bad joke.
Yeah,
but I'm
that's
sorry.
the-
Yeah, sorry. Was that too soon?
Let's back off that one.
Too soon. Yeah, cut
I'm
that.
not laughing.
Can you cut that out?
I don't know if I can.
Do we have a delay on this?
Yeah, can we cut that? But no, my point is that the last 2 days, Israel's had one death.
Oh well, they're pretty much
One
fully
death.
vaccinated.
Yeah, they're like 85% vaccinated.
Yeah.
One
awesome.
death a day.
That's
One
great,
death
though.
a day.
That's
And
awesome.
but this is my point. Does this not prove that vaccines work?
Yep.
You know what I mean? They were. It's not that they were getting crushed, but they were pretty. They were getting hit pretty hard. And literally since vaccinations, they went to one death a day.
pretty
I think
good.
they had 34 cases.
That's crazy.
34 in the entire country.
Wow.
That's great.
34
And they're
cases.
obviously gathering in like huge numbers too.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
It's like
100,000
they're back
people.
to normal. I mean, there's no mass, there's no anything in Israel now. They're completely back to normal,
Yep.
and they're having one death a day. And that one death is probably still a straggler from
So
whatever.
you're saying
you know.
we got a shot?
Yeah,
we can pull out of this one.
There's actually multiple shots.
I think that we're saying, we need 2 shots.
Yeah.
But trust me, by me just saying that, there's going to be 800 comments about what an
You
asshole.
idiot!
You
Can't believe you want microchips in your butthole, man.
Yeah, I bet you like Hitler too, don't you? You know, stuff like that,
It's crazy.
Government control.
Yeah.
We have all of our microchips sitting on the table right now with your phones, man.
We talk about it all the time, dude.
I said this. I think I said this on the vlog or on the podcast last week. If the government came out right now and said, Brian, we can microchip you right now, and when you walk into a store, they're going to say, "Hey, Mr. Barczyk, I really know that you like this type of clothes. They're right over here, and when you're done, just go ahead and scan your hand and walk out the door."
Yeah.
I'd be like, "Put that chip in my arm.
Give me
right
that
now.
chip, baby.
Put that chip.
Come on,
'Cause,
daddy.
You know, the only people that don't want a chip are someone that's doing something illegal. You know what I mean? I don't care if the government knows what I'm doing. I got nothing.
They already know anyway.
And they already know because of our phone. But I'm not doing anything illegal.
Yeah.
I'm not hiding anything. I'm not,
I still don't want the chip.
Damn, son. Can we rail this in?